So we are organizing a webinar series on sustainability and actions in institutions. And this series is being inaugurated by Professor P.K. Khosla, the Chancellor of Shulini University. He is a dynamic personality who has guided us to develop and work on the sustainability issues in this Himalayan region. So briefly, so I welcome him. And we have eminent scientist, Mr. Dwipen Baruah, who is a managing director of Global Sustainable Energy Solutions, which is a subsidiary of an Australian GSCS, with us also. And he will be talking about global sustainable issues here. And also we have Rajeev Gyani, who is the chief of Chattisgarh Renewable Energy Development Agency, and he has worked with the International Solar Alliance also earlier, and has a wide experience in solar mini grids installation as well as policy issues there. So they will be the prominent experts of our webinar series, which we are starting here. So briefly, and I welcome other participants which are online also, and some of are here in the sustainable. Like to start briefly, what are the initiatives on sustainable development goals in higher education institutions? And after that, Professor Khosla will address. So in this, I'll share my screen. Full form, full form. So basically, I'll be talking about the initiatives on sustainable development goals in higher education institution for developing them into a sustainable campuses. This is our objective also. And I'm talking about the United Nations Sustainable Development Goal Agenda 2030 and what is the role of higher education institutions. Because if these are developed into sustainable townships, then the message will go to the people also. And what are the solar technology R&D interventions which are required in higher education institutions, and experience sharing. We have been working on these sustainable energy goals since quite earlier, prior to United Nations Sustainable Goals also in this Himalayan state of Himachal Pradesh. And what could be the strategy for follow-up action by higher education institution countrywide? And in this context, we can help them also. So if we see the United Nations 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development this decision was taken by United Nations member states at the United Nations Conference on Sustainable Development at Rio and in June 2012. After that, in September 2015, the United Nations General Assembly adopted this agenda, 2030 agenda, that we should try to meet the goals by this date. And it includes 17 sustainable development goals, or called SDGs also. And building on the principle of that, leaving no one behind. So we should work for all the people. And the new agenda emphasizes a holistic approach to achieve sustainable development. And the mission statement is a blueprint to achieve a better and more sustainable future for all people and the world by 2030, and which is close by now. What are sustainable development goals? These are, As I told you, these are result of a 3-year-long participatory process in which all the stakeholders were present and the agreement was taken on this sustainable development among 193 United Nations member states. And it is a collection of 17 interlinked global goals, which are designed by United Nations, and all of the world is following now this. So if you have this picture, 17 goals are no poverty, zero hunger, and you can see the 3, 4, equality education, gender equality, and clean water and sanitation. Number 6, 7 is the energy for all. Then 8, decent work and economic growth. Then 9, justice, industries, and this thing, the reduced inequalities. 11 is sustainable cities. Then 12, responsible. 13, climate action. 14 is life underwater. Then 15 is life in land. Peace, justice, 16, and 17 is the partnership for the goals, how to implement these goals. All these goals are, as we have said, there is interlinked, and 17 is just to how to attain and how to do this. So in this context, as I told you, with our Chancellor's vision, a Center of Energy Excellence in Energy Science and Technology was established at the Shulini University in 2019. And we started working toward these achieving SDG goals prior to this also. And this center in the background, you can see the Shulini University. And this was among ranked 12th in energy field in India among all the Indian institutions in 2021. And one of the scientists was also placed 2% among the during the year 2020, 21, 22, myself for the continuous. So this center has initiated the task to achieve the target. Focus, we are mainly focusing on, our center is focusing on SDG 7, 11, and 13 mostly. Ensure access to affordable, reliable, sustainable energy for all. Access to energy is an important pillar for well-being. And it is very important worldwide also, because everybody is focusing on the energy, how to get the safe energy, and for all people also. And how they are interlinked, as I told you, because you have to make the cities, human settlements inclusive, because they are the large consumers of energy also. And how to take urgent action to combat climate change. And so CEEST is working towards 7, 11, and 13 goals as it was. In this context, Association of Indian Universities collaborated with Shulini University also. And in collaboration with United Nations India, we organized a North Zone Vice Chancellors meet in November 26th and 27th at Shulini University. And with the focus on SDG 5, 10, 11, and 12. Although this conference was organized by the Shulini University. And followed by this, a number of regional conferences were organized all over the India during 21-20 to sensitize the higher education institution, how they can implement. And in this, as a follow-up of this university, our Chancellor and Vice Chancellor took the decision that we can formulate the policy document for the national level on SDGs. And we formed a steering committee headed by Chancellor and Vice Chancellor, other members also, and with AIU, this thing. And this document is now, was prepared by 17 SDG teams of our university, along with the inputs from the experts also. So basically, we will be focusing on the SDG 7, that is energy for all. So what are the initiative and experience sharing briefly here. So this is the SDG 7. And I'm happy to say that with the efforts of management and this thing, the global ranking, we got the number 2 position in SDG 7 and number 6 position in SDG 6 for the Shulini University. This is because we already tried to implement some of these goals effectively. And this was based upon our energy research as well as the implementation which we have done. I'll briefly talk about this also. So this is a great achievement for a small university, Shulin University, which is already ranked among top universities in India and worldwide also. So if we see, this is the weightage of various indicators for the SDG 7 ranking. That is, we have the weightage is mostly for the research, say affordable and clean site score 10% research, affordable and clean energy, FWCIE also matters. This is also a research area, affordable clean publication, research publications also. And university measures toward affordable and clean energy. That is, institution has to carry out some measures by which these can be implemented in the institution. So the 23% weightage is given for this. Then energy use density, whether we have floor area per volume, that is how much renewable energy we can effectively use, energy efficiency can be achieved, or this can be. So we are doing this also. Energy and the community, basically whatever we are doing, the technology promotion, that needs to be promoted among the community also. So we have decided that Shulin University that we will be implementing some of the technologies around the village and regions also, as well as in the state of Himalayan. So these are the different indicators which need to be achieved for achieving ranking in the SDG 7 also. So why we require? Because energy, environment, and climate change issues are of major concern in Himalayan region. We depend highly on biomass for cooking, space heating, as well as in rural areas also. And extreme winter conditions are here, or which affect the agriculture, horticulture crops also. So we require some kind of solar heating for the greenhouses. Solar greenhouses are also one of the areas. High use of conventional electricity for industry establishment also. So how much we can conserve them, how we can achieve them, that is also important. And dependence of diesel generator is mostly used. Diesel is mostly used for backup systems to the conventional electricity and fossil fuels. Objective of this SDG 7 is that we should reduce this consumption as far as possible. Another area which I told you is the energy efficient building design and construction. If we do this from the very beginning, then we can achieve energy efficiency in the buildings also, and reduce the coal diesel consumption also, as energy demands are expected to triple in next 2 decades. So that's why the full potential of renewable energy sources need to be utilized, which is still not being utilized. And if we see this map of India, you can see large potential of solar energies exist, as well as wind and other sources also. About 84 terawatt of solar energy per day from sun is intercepted with the earth. And we may not believe, but about 300 sunshine days per year are available. One sunshine day is about, if you get sunshine for 2.5 hours per day or more. India receives solar energy in the range of 4 to 6 kilowatt hour per meter scale on the average. So we have a huge potential which can be utilized. And estimated potential is, which is worked out by NICE, is 748 gigawatt per peak. And still, vast unexploited solar, wind, biomass, other renewable energy sources. Waste to energy also is one of the areas. So these are some of the targets and indicator. I will not go through this. So you can have a look on this. These are SDG 7 has these targets: S1, 7.1, 7.2, 7.3. What we should do, for example, we should ensure access to the affordable, reliable energy to all. And we should increase the share of renewable energy in global energy mix also, and double the global rate of improvement energy efficiency. So energy efficiency is very important, although we construct buildings as well as, but very less importance is given to the achieving energy efficiency and solar energy utilization also, and expand the infrastructure also. So these are some of the targets and indicators. And this is the SDG 7 index score as per the Niti Aayog assessment, but they consider only 7.1 target, that is the promotion of conventional electricity as well as the LPG, etc. Other targets are not covered in this, which they will be doing that, but all are important. So what is the strategy for implementation of SDG 7 by higher education? So we should adopt renewable energy adoption, where renewable energy, and focus on the education, research, and joint project with the industry and government also. So this can lead to achievement of these goals effectively. And we have worked out an implementation flow chart for higher education institution. And this includes, you should have a central of energy in every institution to be built, who can focus on this, as well as on the different aspect of SDGs. So coordinated effort is required, which we have tried to prove here also, by which we could achieve the SDG number 2 goal here in Shulni University. And now we are following up daily in time-bound manner also. Formulate policies, energy, environment policies needs to be done. You have to create a central facility, then formulate policies and implement also. Implementation is very important. Policies mostly remain on the paper side, but fortunately we have the management and this thing, so that we monitor the monitoring of this also. And also incorporate SDG in the policy also, and create achievable goals, small goals also, monitor progress of each project also. So these are the things. So I'll just briefly tell whatever the simple initiative which were taken, and establishment of the Center for Education, Research and Innovation at UG level, master's level, PhD level, and to coordinate SDG initiative also, and focus on quality research. In fact, I would like to mention here that Professor Khosla, who is an academician who has established this university, is daily monitoring today also we had the quality research should be the focus, research publication, patents, this should be the focus of our institution. And it is very important to do that. And then a 400 kilowatt grid connected solar power plant was installed to meet the energy needs of university partial, and this can further be. Then the solar steam cooking system was installed in 500, which for girls hostel, which can save 2 to 3 LPG. And this, I'd like to just remember that Professor Khosla came to NIT Hamirpur when such a system was installed. I informed him that such a system exists. So he came there, how it could function, whether it is functioning. After that, this system was installed at Shulini University also. And we have solar water heating system of 38,000 liter per day capacity. We have electric cars for transportation in the campus. The purpose is that to avoid the fossil fuel emissions, or during the daytime at least. So these cars are used, which also useful in reducing some part of no vehicle is allowed during the daytime or in the campus. And solar street light, of course, is a very important aspect, which can save on the conventional electricity. And the implementation of, we have policies formulated on energy, environment. Recently, we have formulated policy on disaster management also. National innovation and startup policy is also there, reducing the fossil fuel consumption and utilizing. And also the major is the solar passive energy efficient net zero carbon free buildings. So we are working towards this. All the new construction try to work out the materials and design in such a way so that we could achieve net zero or near zero carbon free buildings during this. So it will lead to a sustainable township, which is very important. As I told you, building sector is one of the very high consumption, energy consumption region, and it has about 55% of global electricity is this thing, and building consume about 35% of total energy in India, which is increasing at the rate of 8% per year. We have to focus on how we can save the energy by design, construction materials, as well as the various electricity energy efficiency devices also. And these building design are not climate responsible, mostly in cold region as well as hot regions also. Poor thermal comfort conditions, which require large air conditioning systems to be installed later on. So if the certain principles are followed earlier, then this could be reduced also. And poor, beside energy consumption, most also provide healthy, comfortable living indoor environment. When we are working on air conditioning systems, these are not healthy environment, and they lead to sick building syndrome also. which affect the health of the human beings working there. So this technology, which we have innovative passive solar building technology, this has been adopted in the state of Himachal Pradesh as far as 94, and fortunately when our center proposed this policy here, it was adopted here. So a well-designed passive solar building reduces the heating, cooling loads effectively. Then energy efficiency strategies can be followed, and we can integrate solar photovoltaic as a hybrid energy system. In fact, solar wind hybrid systems are also quite effective, which can be designed. So climate responsive technologies are very important. This is just I tell you, this is a very simple principle, this is known as a thermal storage wall or heating during night time, because mostly the questions is asked how the sun can work during night time. So this storm wall system can work in night time also, because during the daytime there is a glass, there is a dark wall which is painted black or dark color, and this is thermal mass. It will absorb the heat and radiate during. So there is a time lag of around 6 to 7 hours based upon the material which we are using in the construction of storm wall, and it will release heat during night time also. So till morning the room will be very comfortable. So this is a basic principle. Prof was the scientist, French scientist, who first gave this concept. But basically, this is a very simple physics concept that if you have a glass, you have a black surface, it will absorb heat and it can radiate. And that principle is utilized here. Another concept which is very simple is concept of integrated zero energy building, that you can utilize some kind of solar chimney and an earth tunnel system which can cool the building and provide natural ventilation. So for hot climates, this strategy is quite effective and has been adopted in buildings in Rajasthan or Bombay and some commercial buildings also. So these technologies are viable and effective. And as I told you, Himachal Pradesh was the first state in entire country which adopted a solar house action plan as far as May 12, 94. So according to this, all the buildings should be designed as per this technology, which it reduces the consumption. And we can say, we are proud to say that this step was taken prior to United Sustainable Development Goal Initiative also, but needs further strengthening. This is one of the solar passive building which is in Shimla, and the first solar passive building which was designed, which has a storm wall, air heating system, double glazed window, very simple principle, and cost is also not increased by adopting, and a rooftop solar air heating system with electrical backup. Quite comfortable building, and one can see this building. This similar technology, as I told you, we adopted this technology in Shulini University also, and this is the traditional mud houses. This is the dream village of Rajeev Khosla. That Yoganand village has more than so many huts which are constructed of mud, as well as wide access to this thing. And some of this will be following with the solar passive technology also. And this is the interior of a natural lighted comfortable mud house, mud hut, use of sun and sustainable building materials also. So we'll be monitoring and studying this also. And this is another sustainable wood use and made, and these academic blocks for some cabins were made during COVID times for transmission of lectures or another goals, as I told you briefly, I discussed goal number 6, which we ranked number 6 globally. Establishment of sewage treatment plants, recycling of wastewater, rainwater harvesting, purified drinking water supply, periodic inspection of this, and plantation of this. So some of the initiatives which we are also taking, and further research is also going on in this area. Another interlinked is the 11, sustainable cities and communities. When we make the building, cities should also be sustainable, and this is the interlinked goal also. So in 11, we as we told you, being developed as a sustainable township, green township. Quality residential facilities are being created, use of solar energy. And there is a policy for carbon-free campus by 2030. We are trying to work out various energy efficient houses like this. And this is SDG 11 progress in India. India's score is 79 under this goal. And these are another, again, the same, some of the initiative taken at our university. policy for this thing. These are the cards and the street lighting, health center also. So a holistic approach is there. And then the Sustainable Development Goal number 13, these are the green initiatives. We have started masters in this also, climate science and sustainable development. As I told you, energy technology, PhD, these programs are also. And some of the initiatives, we have a policy on energy and environment, plantation drives throughout the year, systematic waste management, recycling, zero single-use plastic, production of energy from waste, protecting forest from the. So some of these, which can easily be adopted by other institutions also. And as I told you, that is oriented to its education, research, and development towards achieving all the sustainable goals. And we strengthen the implementation in this work. And this, but it requires linkage with government, higher education, industry, society for SDG implementation. And this is the basic roadmap which can be followed by every institution. All universities should have a sustainable townships, green campuses, formulate energy environment policies, implement this. So the wastewater recycling, use of electric vehicles for internal transportation, safe green environment, medical facility, yoga practice. We have a yoga center also here also. So the sustainable future is the. So this is the viewpoint of this, and our goal is to make Shulni as a sustainable township. We have on the rooftops, car parking, it's a photovoltaic systems which are providing energy, and we are exploring more areas for further. So using green renewable energy, we are net zero carbon free sustainable township. The Shulni University is already located in Himalayan region, looks like a mix of this also. So thank you very much. This is all. If some queries or questions, we can ask later on. Yeah. Now I'll Agriculture University, senior advisor in government of Himachal Pradesh. And you see the example of now, he established the Shulin University at the age of 65. And he was, many people were susceptible that this may not be achieved, but he has achieved. Now the university is ranked top. Dr. Khosla will be talking about all these. Professor Khosla, please.
Thank you very much, Dr. Chandel, for your very elaborate presentation. I am associated with Dr. Chandel, I would say, maybe for the last 40 years, when I was professor of forest science at University of Horticulture and Forestry. I have seen that though we know that solar energy, wind energy, water resources are very important God-given gifts, but still a lot of emphasis has never been paid for their development or unequivocal utilization of these resources for human development. Dr. Chandel has made a very, I would say, elaborate presentation. I was wondering, if it is so, why and how we are not still adopting the free energy, free resource that the nature has given us. He has talked about the passive houses, why we have not adopted the technology. I would say it's the fault of those who are in the policy and also those who are making the technologies. Partnership between the government, institutions, programs stay at the, I would say, the presentation level, and the progress is very, very passive. Why can't India see a green revolution in application of energies. We are very fortunate. We are a tropical country. So much sun, so much rain, so much wind, but still hardly this is seen in the government buildings or particularly in the dwellings where people live. Yes, mud huts were there. Our parents, our elders, our ancestors, they were more conscious of these things. And most of the huts which they had made, those were energy passive. I think this deliberation that Dr. Chandel, which has arranged, it will open the gates to bring practical shape that this technology is adopted. I've learned that knowledge generation research is very important. Knowledge dissemination is teaching and learning given to the students, to the others. And then last is the knowledge utilization. The utilization part is missing. And without the, I would say, combining of the three components, no technology and no science can grow. Well, friends, much has been talked by Dr. Chandel about Shunli University. I would say, if you have will, if you have desire, everything is achievable. I'm a strong believer of that. When the Shunli University was established, our single goal was, जैसे अर्जुन सिर्फ पक्षी के छाया को पानी में देकर तीर चलाता थे, तो single goal was to be a global university. We were not even eligible to compete for the world ranking till last year. The reason being, in Shunli University, our path was quality, not the quantity. In India, most of the institutions and in our programs, we want to run after quantity. And on the way, we humble down. And much results are not achievable. We thought a poor private university established by academicians will not have the resources. So we have to generate things ourselves and develop plan which is less expensive. I'm very happy to talk that today people in the country and outside want to understand Dr. Khosla's model. How from a small beginning, Shunli University all of a sudden jumped to the second place in the country. Friends, there are 75 universities which were put in the Times Higher Education from India. And Shunli University is the second best after Indian Institute of Science, Bangalore. It's not my achievement. It is the achievement of the team, achievement of the goal, achievement of the purpose. And मैं तो इसको तपस्या करता हूँ. मुझे कई लोग पूछते हैं कि डॉक्टर खोसला तुमने ये कैसे कर लिया? Even the chairman UGC was asking. मैंने कहा sir, then I was vice chancellor. I am the secretary of the society which is running this project. I'm also the vice chancellor. Whatever decision I want to take, I can take. I don't have to ask anybody. So I was independent. My goals were very clear. I always tell to the colleagues, your goal is clear, it is achievable, and slow and steady wins the race. Rome is not built in a day. And if you try to little fast or in work in haste, you are going to make mistakes. Our model is very simple. And then I told him that in government system, it is not possible. I have also worked in government from professor to vice chancellor to scientific advisor to the state government. And I utilized my experience in the university, which I earned in the government, that whatever the mistakes we did there in the private universities, you seek the collaborations by rewards, by awards, and by the, I would say, the support of the society, the people, everyone. My purpose of citing this, my Shulni University case is to talk about energy, so that this is also reaches the same level. I will advise Dr. Chandel that he also develops a program which is achievable and visible. Make a plan for next 10 years. If I am alive, because I am 82, I will be happy to see that. Energy, every place, every township. Okay, you are showing us something in the university campus, but it should be more, energy should be more popular. I am a believer. God help those who help themselves. Everything is achievable provided you have the will to do it. And you have to put 100%. I have put my 100%. I'm not saying with pride, it with humility, that if this nation is to grow. I'm also very pained. Why Indian University? I was listening to the Narayana Swami, Narayana Murthy speech only yesterday. Somebody sent me the video of that. He says, I'm just concerned about the duty. I'm shocked that none of the Indian universities among first 200. We are 130 crore of people, and none of the Indian universities among first 250. Who is to think the scholars like Dr. Chandel in the UGC or at the Prime Minister PMO level, because it is one nation. I am a nationalist at this age. I want my country to be had. China was also in this stage about 20 years back, but they have done it now. Their University of Peking and the University of Tsinghua, they are 12th and the 14th level in the world. So instead of talking, India should also develop its policies for higher education. The more students come, India, because today most of the Indians are going to China for studies, whereas the national education policy talks of people coming from the neighboring countries to India. Why will they come to this country when you are not among first 250 is your university? Today's young men, young scholars, young students, they would like to see the ranking of the university. They are not going to be swayed by the glory or other things. India had ancient wisdom. India had, and that is very rich. That was very rich, but we cannot live on that glory. Westerners, Europeans gave us education. Indian education system was destroyed in 1192 by one, Bakhtiar Ali Khilji. He warned your 50th university. Period. And it is only in 1857 the Britishers established 3 universities on the Western model. Today, what we are is not our inheritance. We have copied from we were made to copy from the British system or the European system. And what we are, because when there was a Renaissance age, 15th, 16th, 17th century, at that time, British was ready because when we were being destroyed, the British universities or the European universities started coming up. The human resource was available in that. If you look at the scientific theory, most of the theories have come at that time. And in those 3-4 centuries and afterwards, it led to the Industrial Revolution and then colonization. They ruled the nation. So we have also to develop our own our strategy, which should be a combination of ancient wisdom and the modern Western science. So I wish all success to this seminar, to this webinar. Dr. Chandel is a scholarly person. I'm impressed with him. Only my wish is that things should be visible, which are not visible. At least for the last 4 decades, I'm watching these. ये सब sketchy चीजें धीरे धीरे दिखाने के लिए इंस्टीट्यूशन में पड़ी हैं. जब तक लोगों के सोलन शहर में 20-25 मकान पैसे मीटिंग नहीं होगी तो कोई विश्वास नहीं करेगा. मैं जैसे समझता हूँ. तो अगर आप ये कर सकते हो फिर अपने आप लोग कॉपी करेंगे. Because I was in extension education for 10 long years, and I find people can only copy things which are first being displayed, disseminated, and seeing is believing. So Dr. Chandel, take a pledge today that at least you will be doing it so that the people, Solon becomes a town where passive eating it is known with the passive eating. We have so much energy. Thank you very much for inviting me for this. God bless you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir, for your enlightened talk. And as I told you earlier, Professor Khosla inspires generations. He will be inspiring us. He has inspired us also. He has a passion to do so. I assure you that whatever we are talking about, we are trying to implement here also, and the purpose of a sustainable township is to promote these technology around the region also. And we assure that with this technology, which have been promoted earlier in field level also, should go to grassroots level also in villages as well as townships also, that I assure. And with your leadership there, we are confident they will be achieving this goal. Our center will be working towards this also. Now, thank you very much for your talk, inaugural address. This is a webinar series which will continue during November, December, and we'll be following with other experts, international, national also, on the topic also. So now I request Mr. Dwipen Baruah, who is a managing director of Global Sustainable Energy Solutions, which is linked with the Australian company GSES, to present his talk.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for inviting me to present this small presentation. And I will be just... Okay. Thank you. So my presentation will be on net zero campus. Again, I'm following Professor Chandel about net zero campus. That means how to reduce the energy consumption or making buildings life cycle cost is minimum. This we have been doing for a little longer, because I was involved in Solar City Master Plan preparation in 2010. After that, Government of India has also promoted one scheme called Solar Campus and Green Campus, so under which we have prepared many detailed project reports and many master plans to implement those kind of programs. So just to set the context, the economic growth and climate change has a nexus. So because for any economic growth, we have been using traditionally, I would say, the fossil fuel, and which is one of the major reasons for creating the climate change, disturbing the environment. And if you look at the consumption of the energy or the emission, particularly CO2 emission, the contribution from the residential so contribution from the residential sector is 20 to 55%. It's in Indian context. So Italy, South Asia Secretariat, where I was a director at that time, we did some study in various cities. Then commercial sector consumes about 5 to 20%. Depends upon the different cities and all. Some industrial sector maybe 10 to 60%, depending on which city. Then transport sector 10 to 40%, and solid waste 3 to 15%. Another study by US GBC shows that the building sector as a whole, that may be residential building, commercial building, or industrial building. So building sector as a whole consumes about 71% of total electricity, and then produces 65% of waste, and also 12% of water is used, and it contributes about 39-40% of total carbon emission. That means the buildings are a major consumer of energy, as also a major producer of greenhouse gas. So that is why Dr. Chandel has mentioned very correctly that making the buildings more scientific or more energy efficient can actually make a lot of difference to contribution towards the greenhouse gas emission or climate change directly. And then, of course, the higher institute can play a very leading role. And when it comes to buildings, then it is always important to see the life cycle cost of a building. We should not see the construction cost of a building, because if you look at a building cost for its life, then it starts from initial investment for construction, then services you provide in that building because it is used for some purposes, then maintenance cost for preventive maintenance cost mostly, or maybe repairing cost, then operating costs, that is mostly for energy is concerned, and also disposal cost at the end of the life of the building. So this is why it is so important to conduct a life cycle assessment or life cycle cost assessment of any building construction for economic as well as the environmental reason. Because traditionally, when we construct a building, we only look at the construction cost. We do not see what will be the future cost about the building, what will be the energy cost, what will be the how efficiently the energy can be used in that building. So these are very, very important point. And I think all architects should be, some architects are now most, I think, becoming more aware. All technologies are available and everything is possible. And also, if you look at the life cycle cost point of view, it is definitely much cheaper. If you consider all different measures like Dr. Chandel has mentioned in his presentation. So energy cost is one of the most or major cost of life cycle cost of a building, depending upon again the weather as well as the where the building is and how the building is operated. And particularly the cold region buildings consumes more energy for heating, but the warm region buildings consumes more energy for cooling. So both are very, very important, heating and cooling. So either way, you will never find a very comfortable zone, except a few locations that your building will not consume energy for either cooling or for heating. Then the building construction driven by lower initial cost may resulting into higher life cycle costs, which is one of the most important aspect we must consider this. And through the life cycle cost analysis, if we do life cycle cost analysis at the design stage, it is possible to identify priority areas for improvement in the building design or even retrofitting. If building is already exists, then retrofitting is also possible to reduce the energy consumption. So adopting of energy efficiency features as well as the renewable energy technologies as well as the passive architecture features, it is possible to make a building net positive energy consumers and to reduce overall life cycle cost. So now what should be the value saying for strategy to make a campus green? So first we must understand or assess the footprint, that is carbon footprint, through energy audit. Then we have to map how much carbon emission is taking place because of all different activities in the campus or a building. Then that is coming through the energy consumption mapping. So next is reduction stage, how we reduce the energy consumption or overall carbon emission. So one is we have to have a carbon neutrality and offsetting strategy. Then we must prepare the feasibility report or feasibility study, doing all the technical as well as commercial study. Then we make the design to implement those, and then of course through the techno-economic analysis. So then implementation phase. So that is depends on technology assessment, which technology will be more suitable. Then maybe partnership or financing with the different organizations. Then project management and operation and maintenance. Then comes to measure. So once you implement, it is also important to measure how much energy I saved by the campus and what would have been otherwise, and how much greenhouse gas reduction has been taking place. So that has to be measured. Then only you will be accountable. So then comes to monetize. So how you monetize that whole effort, because directly you are saving energy, that means you are directly saving cost of energy. So that is the direct reduction of cost. Then you can also possible that you can earn carbon credit. It is still prevails. Some instruments are still there. So you can earn a carbon credit, maybe small or maybe big, depending upon the activities and depending upon the how much carbon you have reduced. So now there are 10 steps to develop this. I think many of them has already, Professor Chandel has already mentioned. So I'm just again summarizing the 10 steps. First step should be energy baseline and carbon footprint mapping. So how much we are consuming in different activities and what is the greenhouse gas emission we are contributing. Then forecast energy demand. It is always, energy is always increasing in terms of use, and there will be expansion, there will be more occupancy, there will be more activities. So what will be the projection to next 5 and 10 years, particularly with respect to Sulini University, a new campus more or less. So there will be a lot of activities are going on, new departments will come, no more students will come, more activities will take place. So definitely energy demand will increase coming years. So then infrastructure or activity-wise energy efficiency study. So energy efficiency should be understood from the activity-wise, not from the whole campus-wise. So it should be understood in a very detailed way from the infrastructure point of view. For example, building is one sector, water supply could be one sector, vehicle could be one sector, and street lighting could be one sector. So there could be different multiple sectors. So that has to be focused and customized for this study, and activity-wise also. Then strategies should be made. Of course, strategies should be made only based on cost-benefit analysis. How much required, how much it will be, there will be reduction, and how much savings will be there, and what will be the cost of investment for executing those measures. Fourth step is renewable energy technology feasibility study. How much solar can be installed, and what will be the cost, and how benefit will come from, and waste management, etc. So many options. Yesterday we were talking about small wind turbines. So whatever technologies are available, we can think about the implementation of those, but after thorough cost-benefit analysis, technical as well as commercial analysis. So then it is very important to have a goal, and it should be a year-wise goal. It is should not be a 5 years goal. Means I will set something. Okay, within 5 years I will do something. That is not correct thing to do. What is correct thing to do is year-wise goal. What I will do in this year, what I will do in the next year, what I will do in the next to next year. So maybe 5 years goal or 10 years goal, that should be there for both energy efficiency as well as the renewable energy generation. So then action plan. So a goal is not adequate to implement if you do not have an action plan. So goal should be always defined and supported by an action plan. What activities I will do year-to-year basis so that I achieve my goal. So then again, if having action plan will not do, you need also money for that. Where from the money will come? So financial outlay, budgeting, and source of funding, and then how to bring money or keep budget, where the source of funding would be. It may be a public-private partnership, it may be government fund, it may be institutional owned fund, it may be loan, it may be some donor agencies fund, whatever it is, that could be laid down. Then implementation strategy, how we are going to implement. So then, of course, it is not complete once you implement. Unfortunately, there are many projects are implemented but never looked after afterwards. So operation and maintenance strategy is very important. How these things will be, every single things. Even you have a rainwater harvesting system, but you need to maintain them. So there are many equipments, many systems, many projects does not function because of lack of proper maintenance. And of course, the monitoring and evaluation strategy. Because once we do activities, we implement something, we monitor maintenance of maintaining something, spending money, but are you getting expected results or not? So there should be a proper strategy, proper monitoring facility, how much we are saving, whether it is expected as per the expectation or not, or how to evaluate that, whether we are targeted to make suppose 60% of reduction of energy, are we able to do that or not? So those monitoring and evaluation is very, very important. So these 10 steps can be implemented to any institutes. Now I will be presenting 2 case studies. One, we did some study in Pondicherry University. They implemented those projects very successfully. And what we did is we studied the existing power system, then energy demand, So from how much energy is being consumed from electricity, from diesel for standby power supply, for diesel generators, then for transportation separately, and how much LPG they use for cooking in the hostels. So overall, altogether, so it was found that about 1,006 tons of CO2 equivalent they emits every year. I will not go in for the power system and all because these are all details. Then we suggested and we developed some strategies for energy efficiency measures. That includes very important thing for energy efficiency measures. I will just highlight only a few important things here. So improvising energy management and accountability system, which is very important because what we found in the university that electricity is being used, diesel being used, so only they account how much is being paid or how much is being used. But how it is being used and who is using how much, there is no record or no accountability on that. So at least must be properly managed or accountable system is there, should be there. So we suggested that there should be a proper metering and monitoring of energy consumption for every different activities or every different infrastructure. For example, in Sulini University, if we do not know how much the building serving is consuming energy, how much is being consumed by the pump, or how much is being consumed by the street lights. So if you know them separately, then it will be very good or convenient to make a strategy to reduce the energy consumption, or making a strategy for how we can actually reduce or improve those conditions. So we suggested that separate meters or should be even for the separate buildings, and then using some sensor-based automatic switch for indoor lights or even outdoor lights. So there are many lights are already always on, but if there is a sensor-based things, then that could be drastically reduced. So there are many. I will not read one by one, but there are many. We also suggested some solar passive principles to adopt in the buildings because it's a very hot and humid zone, Pondicherry, near to the sea. So these advices suggestions was made according to the requirement. So this is a campus. We prepared a detailed project report and feasibility report for about 600 plus kilowatt solar system, and solar water heating system, as well as also some solar cooking systems was there, and some small turbines in the periphery of the campus, not very big ones to disturb the overall situation, but small ones. Wind they have not implemented. The solar they have implemented about a megawatt or so till now. I do not have energy data right now because this report was prepared a couple of years ago. So overall, we see we have prepared a 5 years strategy for them. So combined with renewable energy and efficiency. So till now, they would have actually saved more than 68% because that 68% target was based on 600 some kilowatt, but they have installed, I think, more than that. So that was the Pondicherry University target report. Now I'm talking about a school situation in a Delhi for Delhi public school, which was in Noida. This is being implemented. Tender is just over. They are placing order next week. So this is a project with solar and battery large battery system, as well as the diesel generator. So again, very similar connection, about 1 megawatt connection. They have diesel generators. So they consume about 365,000 units of electricity per year. Then diesel is used very intermittently for managing the power cut from the distribution company. They consume about 5,500 liters of diesel every year. And there is a shutdown power cut about 160 hours in a year. Then we have designed the solar system for their campus. Then we strategize to accommodate the battery system, and then also we calculate the net zero possibilities. So as of now, with current consumption, even 250 kilowatt system is good enough. But because they have a more equipments to add later on, so then they will require about 470 kilowatt system to make it net zero electricity, not energy, electricity. The economics are very good for as far as electricity is concerned, even with a battery system. The project period is coming about 6 to 7 years in most of the cases. You can see we given them multiple options. They are implementing now option number 1 as a pilot project. So if they are successful, then they will implement another 18 projects in coming years. So that is all from my side. Thank you, Chandel sir, for giving me this opportunity to speak in this webinar.
Thank you. You have given excellent talk, telling about the case studies also, how these can be implemented in the institutions. I think it will go a long way to this. Now, any questions or something? Or we may have the next speaker, then we'll have the questions together. And I'll request Mr. Rajeev Gyani, who is heading the Chattisgarh Energy Research Renewable Energy Development Agency, to present his experience.
Thank you, Professor Chandel. So we have already heard the eminent speakers speaking about the SDGs, and Professor Khosla has spoken about not only the present situation, but the history of the innovation and the dedication, and how the Almighty helps you in implementing the project when you are on the correct direction and correct vision. I'll take you to another journey. That is how the state can become complete potential of the renewable energy, especially solar, can be tapped with a clear-cut vision, step-by-step direction. Now, what I will share you is with the information which is very widely scattered, but you will have to accommodate on a single platform and see how difficult it is being in government organization, how to handle all this situation. Because installing a solar system is the easiest task, but making it operational for its lifetime at 25 years is the very most difficult job, which we are doing. So 26th state is the Chattisgarh state, and Chattisgarh is one of the states where 44% is the area covered by the forest. And amazingly, this is the tribal state. But if you see the per capita energy consumption, it is twice the national per capita consumption because of the industry is there. Population less and industry is more, so per capita consumption increases. Although I myself doesn't use this much of energy in my house, but it is the figure which we have to accept. So this is the state agency which works as a state nodal agency for government of India, also for the state. We also implement the energy conservation aspect and all renewable energy. If you see the state energy power scenario, the total power consumption covers about 14,000 megawatt of power generation capacity, out of which only 9% is renewable energy, and rest is thermal energy. And out of this 9% of renewable energy, the major chunk is acquired by the solar, which is 64%. Now, this is enhancing very fast. Solar is enhancing very fast, followed by biomass, hydro, and small hydro. Because this is the only technology which you can install today and immediately you get the power generation. There is no other technology in the world which is so fast. You can say it is a fast food in case of energy generation. Now, the core competency of CREDA, we are divided into 5 buckets. One is solar irrigation project. This is the largest irrigation project, I think, in the small area in the world. In India, it is, because the largest number of solar off-grid solar systems are installed in Chattisgarh state, followed by the solar drinking water scheme, then remote village electrification, the solarization of education and health sector, and last but not the least, which keeps all the core sectors alive, is operation and maintenance, and this is through online management system. Although the major activities are divided into 12 categories, which we individually cater precisely every month. This is the complete infrastructure of CREDA. We have almost office in all the districts. Now we have about 740 employees. Why I'm telling you this thing? Because the task which we are catering, the number of people handling this, it is very humongous job. And out of the 740, 239 is skilled and 501 is semi-skilled. Now for this thing, government should not have a mandate to implement on their own. Their hands are the industries, the entrepreneurs, the vendors, the contractors work, but they should be all your empaneled members. So they will understand you and you understand them. So in last year, about 190 system integrators, 118 vendors and 18 contractors were empaneled with CREDA, and they are the people who had implemented projects. And also, apart from these, there are many other people who are not on the board of CREDA, but they are responsible for maintaining the system. Now I'm showing you the budget. See, the budget of last year is 1,200 crores, out of which the state share is only 740. And rest is convergence from other departments, 501 crores. And out of this, the total expenditure on the administrator is only 3%. That is very important. Now, whatever you implement, if you don't get proper feedback, or you should have some system for complaint catering and also monitoring what is implemented. Otherwise, we will be self-obsessed that we have done the best. This is not the case. So information technology is there. You have to use this thing. So this is, we call it a triangle of success. I'll skip this slide because there are many other things already spoken. See I'll tell you project-wise what are the progress which CREDA has made in Chattisgarh. And there is one box there converges from. So this includes the name of the department whose budget has been included in our progress. We ourselves are not responsible. Financially, they also help us. So if our budget is 10 crores, we should not concise our working to the 10 crores. We can maybe 100,000 crores also. So total number of pumps installed is 1,16,000. It has now risen to 1,20,000. And this is about more than 19% of the total pump installed for irrigation pump. Now, there are electric and diesel pumps also. Our target is to convert all this into solar, which will take some time, maybe 10, 15 years, because it has to be done in phases. So that will make all the pumps into solar pumps. You cannot make 100% solar pump without storage. So there has to be some conventional source for proper irrigation system. So these are the photos. I'll skip all these things. Now, community irrigation. Now, individual farmers is the standalone solar irrigation. But there can be one common power plant and a big pump which can lift water from some perennial source of water and cater water to many farmers at the time. So 226 projects are already in operation, wherein about 2,550 hectares of land have been irrigated and about 2,200 farmers have been paid out of it. This is the photograph, two example photographs of irrigation projects. It is through perennial source of water, with flowing water. Apart from this, there are some solar drinking water scheme. You have a hand pump in the village, but the water lifted in the hand pump is from 20, 30 feet. But the potable water is much below that. So a solar pump is installed in that particular hand pump only. So hand pump is operating as it is, but the drinking water, again, see this photograph. So there is a tank and there is a module on top of the tank, and the hand pump has a boring in which there is a submersible pump which is operated by the solar module, and it lifts water into a tank, and there is a separate tap for drinking water purpose. So this provides a pure drinking water purpose. There are two ways of doing it. Centralized tap is there, and another scheme is known as Jal Jeevan Mission, which is the Government of India scheme, wherein water is taken to individual houses through the power distribution piping network. So more than 20,000 pumps have been installed through solar energy. Now, there are about 19,567 villages in Chattisgarh, out of which 941 are solarized, are electrified through solar energy. This is happening since 2003-4, and 941 is the percentage wise is 4.8% of the electrified villages. Now, there were more than 1,200 villages which were electrified through solar. But as the time the electricity expansion happened in the villages, so they were converted into conventional power, wherein the solarization was removed from those villages and taken to other places. Now, health sector. There are about more than 6,000 health centers in Chattisgarh. Out of that, about 1,400 have been covered by the solar system, which is about 24%. The target is to cover 100% health center. These are the health centers which already have light. But apart from that, to give energy security, solar systems are installed of different categories. Every sector has different capacities defined. So these are the impact. Now, education sector. About 1,124 schools have been electrified, and also hostels and educational residences in the 1870s have been electrified. The conversations from different departments which are mentioned here. Now, this is the high mast. This is one of the very important scheme of Chattisgarh. High mast is the high pole is there, the module is there, and LED lamps are there. These are normally conventional type of system which consume lot of energy. Now, in this case, if a solar high mast is installed, there is no bill. It is self-sustainable. It operates on its own. Switch on, switch off, everything is automatic. And maintenance is very easy. So 3 combinations are there: 6 meters, 9 meters, 12 meters, and more than 3,000 high masts have been installed. So the Gram Panchayat or the Nagar Panchayat, they don't have to pay a single penny on the consumption of electricity on this type of high mast. And it has a very good life of 25 years with lithium-ion batteries, which can be changed periodically. Now, there are few villages where only street lights are provided. No domestic lights are connected. So this is a very good project which can be implemented in this campus also with centralized power plant. And more than 800 villages have been covered. So one power plant, single power plant with a porta cabin or some room nearby where batteries and inverters can be kept, and through that the power distribution network can be happened, because this Solini University is scattered long in the hilltop. So maybe the 10 lights may have different 1 kilowatt plant, and the below 10 light have different plant. Because here in this case, see the red font, it says that 10 LED light can run 25 number of LED watt capacity of LED light for 12 hours. Only this can be designed here, and it's most economical system. So also cold storage. This is a product about 5 ton of cold storage, 4.5 kilowatt, 65 numbers are installed. There is no electricity in the system. This works on a system. The storage in the form of the coolness. Now, the most important part, how the systems are sustained. The sustainability of the solar system is possible only through appropriate operation maintenance. It is said that solar system is maintenance. It is. Why? Because there is no movement, there is no moving part in it. But it is live. It is not dead. So every solar module generates electricity, flows electrons, flows through the wire, flows through the batteries, flows through the inverter. So everything is live and operational, and it is 24 hours working. Though sun is not there in the night, but the system is live. If you don't maintain it, monitor it, it won't work out. So long-term sustainability has to be there. And then proper equipment. See, if we send our children to the school, they are sent there for study. A teacher can also come to the house and we can get them study. But you cannot monitor them, you cannot evaluate. Because in the school, the evaluation is just compared to other students. And then the competitiveness that it is not there. Same happen in any of the system. If the monitoring is done and it is not compared with some benchmark, then operation maintenance is not of that particular use. So recurring cost is there. Yes, we have to accept this, and it increases the life of this system. What are the challenges for operation maintenance? Budget is the main constraint, which at the initial stage it seems that it is a problem, but it is not a problem. And availability of skilled manpower, then local labor. There are many theft cases also during operation maintenance. So you have to have something in place to stop this theft. So in Chattisgarh, there are about more than 28,000 solar systems and more than 90,000 home lighting systems which are maintained by CREDA. And apart from that, there are about 1,20,000 solar pump also. So more than, you can say there 2 lakh systems are there which are maintained every month. And this is done by dividing them into 508 clusters. In every cluster, they have one team of one technician and one helper. And also every plant has one operator. So we calculated more than 1,000 people, about 1,500 people are maintaining all the system and backed by the government, our district in charges and other regional heads, head office through. It is all online. Only physically the people go there, but system is maintained online. So this is the system how the system works in a online manner. Any person, suppose I am a beneficiary, I want to launch a complaint. So I can do to the nearest cluster technician, to the CREDA mechanic, or I will go to office or call or convey to the collector. Or there is one toll-free number also and directly to convey. Now the systems are under warranty or out of warranty. Both systems are maintained in the system, and this is done completely through an online system. And this monitoring is done in two ways. One is through the remote monitoring system where the connectivity is there, and when there is no connectivity, the human capital is used for doing this thing. I'll show you, these are the photographs of the system for maintenance, but I'll show you the live examples how it is maintained. Now this is the live thing. How to move this thing? I'll give you example of solar pumping system. So this is the dashboard. So this is the dashboard. If I enter this thing, I'll go to a dashboard. Now, source utilized scheme, the solar pumping scheme, these are all the projects where I can monitor. So if I click this board, these are the different categories through which the system, the concerned person has to monitor. Now I am sitting at the head office level, so I can monitor everything. I'll take you to the picture column. So this is system integrator. It is the person who has installed the system. Suppose I put on Arbay's energy system. So this is one of the system integrator who has installed solar pump. Now, if he has installed solar pump, he has the mandate to go to the site. He or his people go to the site and take picture at every stage and upload on the system. With respect to the specifications and the quality and all those things, these are maintained on this side. Now, I can see all these things sitting in the head office. The Arbay's has put on about 5,890 pictures on the system, and the number of applicants is 7,700. While the officers have verified 3,376 pictures. Now, completely 9,266 pictures are there. Now, if I want to see on map, where are these? See, number of pumps, the locations are there. Now, if this is one of the site, if I click it, I'll view the photo. This is the location of this site, which has all the information from digging of hole till the complete installation of the system where it is completed. This is the beneficiary of the system. So every site has this type of. So if sitting over here in solar, I can understand what is the status of this pump. Now this is during installation, but after installation also there is a process wherein the this is the real-time picture. How many systems have been installed, how many systems installed, and how many are operational also that can be monitored here. So everybody can visible this. This is the real-time picture, and through this particular figure, you can go to the site, anybody saw it and see it. It is all So this system can be installed in the simple campus also for monitoring of the system. And this is not a visible management. So likewise, for other also, there is a dashboard which shows the real-time picture, how many systems in the number of operation of 94% are system operating. And in another case, you can every site, how many complaint have been resolved, how many complaint has been pending. So all the things are monitored. So this operation system makes the people aware about this thing. They cannot bluff us, they cannot move. So this makes the system sustainable for the lifetime. So thank you very much. This was the shortest presentation I could share with the people. Energy efficiency aspect is equally important, and they will also cover about 60 slides for this kind of things, because energy conservation building code is very important. And our new upcoming building is super ECBC. It means that 50% the total cost, total energy will be saved during installation, during construction only, and balance 50% will be catered to solar. It will be 90%. Thank you very much. Thank you, Professor.
Yeah. Thanks. Thank you very much, Mr. Rajeev, for your enlightening talk. And this is actually your system, last system, how these systems are installed and monitored. That type of system, have you some kind of what type of software, etc. you are using this for this?
I don't know the technical details of, but we have 4 or 5 dashboards. Follow the tab. So this is because the staff cannot be established. So it is only possible to the system that they can monitor and control. So there is one company who has built up the system, and they
So I have another question. You said that hand pumps are generally 10 to 15 meter or something, but the drinking water is below that, and the solar pump can. So you have tested those waters also by hand pump or drinking water table?
This is not done. All the TV is monitored. But normally, the water at the shallow level, not that good for portability. But if you go down below, the water is more pure. The TDS is come as part of an environment. So these are quite well known. This hand pump will work as a hand pump, but there is a pump, submersible pump, which is fitted along the same boring, which gives the water to the. You also
you have monitored that, tested those waters, both.
Yes.
Some
problem.
This is good.
But when there is RO system.
You're saying that submersible pump is solar powered?
Yes.
Yes.
How is it getting sunlight when it is deep?
No, pump panels are on the top. Panels.
The panels are there on top of the
top of the tanks.
But isn't there any awareness program? Because normally in planes, you have seen that whenever we are installing the submersible pump, normally we dig out around 80 to 100 feet just to get the potable water. But normal submersible water, every builder is using submersible pump. Normal submersible without.
See, we don't dig the bore. We work on the already existing boring. The hand pump is already there.
Yeah. Well, that is only 20, 30 feet.
But boring is done deep well. We consider those boring only where the gap is there.
No, my side is because these. I'm just listening for the first time. In submersible, you are using solar power. A lot of builders are there. A lot of individual construction are going on. Everybody using simple submersible pump without any system. There should be some technique or some awareness program from the government side or any NGO side, right? So that people will be aware. But people are wasting a lot of. I think in planes it is 1,000 rupees or 1,200 per square feet for digging on. Then submersible single pump is costing around 50.
There is a solar water pumping program already. And there is a solar water pumping scheme in Punjab or Haryana also already.
What Professor Chandel is
पता नहीं होगा.
There are many companies who are doing marketing direct.
they are company.
Okay. Okay. Thank you very much, Mr. Rajeev Gyani, for your talk. Excellent. We can continue our discussion. So many participants also. So we'd like if somebody has any question to any of speaker, please. Can ask the question if somebody wants. If there are no questions, then we'll like to conclude, and we'll be happy if some of you can join our later web series also. And I'm thankful to Professor Khosla for inaugurating this web series. And he spent some time while coming for this workshop. And he has a lot of interest in, say, energy related areas, as he discussed that it should be made available to the local population there, and we are working towards that, and we are sure that we'll be working on those lines also. I'd like to thank Mr. Dwipen Baruah also for his excellent talk and case studies, and how those campuses can be better powered by, say, solar as well as backup systems also, and so that they are self-sufficient systems also. And then Mr. Rajeev Gyani, he has provided his insight into the how his residency is working. I think it is working quite efficiently, and such model can be followed by other, because it's a time of online things also, so better. We'd like him to associate with our center also for the long time also, and get his expertise available for us, both of us. I'd like to thank the participants, some of the offline participants and online participants who have joined the series. I'll request that they provide their inputs. If not today, then they can contact our center through mail also, and we like to help them also. So thank you very much for joining. It's quite late now, and we look forward for your suggestions.